Hakeem Bellamy. This is a poem written for the students at Amyville High School in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a phenomenal school with a phenomenal legacy. A school kind of born out of forgiveness. And check them out, look them up. Real heroes right there. So what those heroes do when they're celebrating today's Heroes Day, they have a day of service, and they call it a day on, not a day off, which is the national phrase as well, I believe, for the Martin Luther King Commission. But Amyville High School celebrates Dr. King's birthday, January 18th, 2010, by having an in-service where the students meet and they take up service projects out in the community and really honor Dr. King's legacy by doing work, because he did work, and they feel like that's better than closing banks and all of the good stuff, stopping mail. They figure a more fitting way to honor him. Though he's probably pretty honored by banks being closed. He talks a lot about that in the speech that I use. But anyway, they celebrate in that manner, in that fashion. So I wrote an address for them last year. I had the opportunity to do it, and I was invited back. And this address was focusing on what I feel is one of his very, very, very important speeches, if not his most important speech, Beyond Vietnam, A Time to Break Silence. Check it out, April 4th, 1967. It was shot a year later on that very same day, arguably for this poem. So as we celebrate the dreamer and his wonderful dream, I think we should also talk about how it wasn't until he started getting outside of that box, that kind of colored box of helping black people and being a civil rights leader, as though civil rights are only for black people. But anyway, once he stepped outside that box, people got angry, and I don't know. You be the judge. I'm not going to do the conspiracy theory thing. So, untitled as of yet. Here it is. Today, January 18th, 2010. I ask you to do one thing for me as we take time out to honor widowed dreams. Dreams that lost their lover in the line of duty. Dreams that don't believe in our optimism anymore. A dream that will take her own life, so help her God if one more person says everything is going to be all right. If one more person says time heals, if one more person calls patience a virtue, a dream that's pretty much had it with folks telling her her time has come and gone because at long last a black man finally drank out of the last whites only water fountain in what was this nation's only remaining all-white house. Do this thing. This one thing for her, really, not for me. Read Beyond Vietnam. Beyond, I have a dream. Between me and you, she always thought the love letter a bit contrived. She much preferred the sweat-weathered pages of his diary. This one, a loose leaf, frantically popping wheelies in sandlot circles, smelling like the storm she is trying to come in from, getting in her last swings before they call the fight a fight. But he never called her that. Never let her have the satisfaction. He told her that her way of settling differences is not just. That this business of burning human beings with napalm, of filling homes with orphans and widows, of injecting poisonous drugs of hate into the veins of people normally humane, of sending men home from dark and bloody battlefields, physically handicapped and psychologically deranged, cannot be reconciled with wisdom, justice, and love. He told her that continuing year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death. Don't be fooled. The dream ain't naive. She knew he was sleeping with nightmares too. Writing outside his race. Color didn't mean anything, and now yellow meant brave. Out in the street, they called him a dream wrecker. Asked him, aren't you a civil rights leader? Like he forgot about his dream. Why are you speaking about the war, Dr. King? Aren't you hurting the cause of your people? He told them of the desperate, rejected, and angry young black men he's walked with. How he told them that Molotov cocktails and rifles would not solve their problems. How he tried to offer them his deepest compassion while maintaining his conviction that social change comes most meaningfully through nonviolent action. And how they asked him, but what about Vietnam? As if their own nation wasn't using massive doses of violence to solve its problems, to bring about the changes it wanted. They tell him peace and civil rights don't mix. As though preachers in Vietnam didn't also have dreams. Dreams that they fell in love with, married, and then died for. He told them that we were taking the black young men who had been crippled by our society and sending them 8,000 miles away to guarantee liberties in Southeast Asia they had not found in Southwest Georgia and East Harlem. Pointing out the irony of watching Negro and white boys on TV screens as they kill and die together for a nation that has been unable to seat them together in the same damn schools. But what would he tell his dream? That he's saving the world for her? That he knew that he could never again raise his voice against the violence of the oppressed in the ghettos without having first spoken clearly to the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, his own government. See, the dream doesn't want to hear anymore about how good a man he was. She wants to know if we actually heard anything he said. She wants to know if we picked up any tips on being half as good. If we listened on April 4th, 1967, when he told us our nation has taken the role of those who make peaceful revolution impossible by refusing to give up the privileges and the pleasures that come from the immense profits of overseas investments. That he was convinced that if we are to get on the right side of the world revolution, we as a nation must undergo a radical revolution of values. That we must rapidly begin to shift from being a thing-oriented society to a person-oriented society. That when machines and computers, profit motives and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered. She needs to know if we heard him. If we heard it, the gunshots that violently broke his non-silence exactly 1 year from the day he challenged us to go beyond. She needs to know if we've seen him. Because the day of remembrance doesn't resemble him anymore. Now they're saying even the widow is gone. I mean, hell, she's been better. But what do you expect of her? Everyone wants to talk about the amazing love songs he'd written her. But all she can remember is this suicide letter. Not a one-vision man, nor a one-dream minister. On his peace, they waged war. On this day, from this day forth, if we really want to get our hands dirty where he left off, we'll stop dreaming that he's this person that everybody loved and start reading the speech he got killed for. I mean, maybe he did cheat. Left wife and kids fatherless. Gave up America and her dream for a long weekend. No, for dream weekend getaways in Venezuela, Guatemala, Cambodia, Peru. For their dreams too. But he warned her before he left. War is but a symptom of a far deeper malady within the American spirit. It is a sad fact that because of comfort, complacency, fear of difference, and our proneness to adjust to injustice, that a nation that initiated so much of the revolutionary spirit of the modern world has now become the arch anti-revolutionary. Our only hope today lies in our ability to recapture the revolutionary spirit and go out into a sometimes hostile world declaring eternal hostility to poverty, racism, and militarism. And then he left us. A bulletproof dream in a holy body. Some say deprived us because he said he couldn't go on dreaming knowing there's people out there who can't even sleep. Others say he left before the dream was over to save us the letdown of having to wake up from a dream into a war. To save her from the war he had become. I mean, at least he got it all off his chest. A year before he walked out of her life, he said, "A time comes when silence is betrayal. For the sake of those boys, For the sake of this government, for the sake of the hundreds of thousands trembling under our violence, I cannot be silent.